Welcome, y'all. This has been a long time in the making. Welcome to the official The Filmmakers Hotline podcast YouTube channel.
Let's go.
We appreciate all the support that when we started this a year ago.
I don't know. It's been a while.
It feels like it's been longer than 2 years, but it hasn't because I think our last episode was like this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, like at the beginning of this year or something.
Yeah. We've been busy. Edward's been filming his butt off. I've been all over the place too. And we knew we wanted to get back to this. We have fun making these videos. We have fun talking to you all, engaging. And now we have a dedicated platform where we can actually upload and interact that way. So
yeah.
This one was going to be more of like also shout out to Edward's lighting. Like he is destroying me right now. I had just my tubes in the back hitting my wall. And he has this moody lighting, like he's about to spit some game. It's just like, yeah.
Bro, this is not a plug, but I figured out that all the Amaran lights connect to Stream Deck, and they have like an Amaran desktop app. So I got a Stream Deck here. So, bro, I can hit the fill light if I want. I can change the if you look at that back thing on the wall, I can like change the color temperature. My key could get real bright if we wanted to, but I think this is the good spot.
My goodness. All I got is this big old bright window and a monopod over here.
Listen, bro, I just have this set up all the time. So it's just like literally it's the lights for my studio.
That looks so good. It looks so good.
Just a couple Amaran lights. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, this episode we're really just catching up. Catching up with each other and then catching you all up what we've been doing for this year. I guess our plans for the channel moving forward too. And yeah, there's been a lot of conversation in our filmmaking community space this year.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been like this. It's been a lot.
It feels kind of polarizing right now, which is like, it's funny. But before we get into that, because that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about the end of 2024 for you and kind of what you're hoping for in 2025, just career-wise as a filmmaker.
Sorry, what was your question? Because I looked down on my phone and it said, hey, you have Apple Cash, $200 in your Apple Cash account. I'm like, how?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, besides your spare $200, how's the rest, like how's 2024 ended for you? And then what do you have planned 2025 as a filmmaker?
Yeah. Boy, this year has been an incredibly busy year for 2016 and for my channel. So many amazing opportunities that we've had, as well as we actually just wrapped our last production of 2024. It was a commercial we shot for the toothbrush brand that we've been filming with.
Love it.
But yeah, I mean, some things are going to be slightly changing on the back end for Sunny, but other than that, we're still kind of kicking it. We're on productions, we're traveling, this, that, and the other. We have a few exciting jobs coming in the beginning of 2025. So I can't wait to share what that is. But with me, like, as you know, I've been telling you, dude, I'm buried with content right now.
Yeah.
I am drowning with content. I am slow to edit. And so I've said too many yeses and not enough turnarounds. So my year right now, my December is absolutely packed. I've kept the week of Christmas free. I have to for the family, myself, my sanity.
Got to. Yeah, that's important.
But right now I have a laundry list of reels and videos that I've promised to get out to get done, and I think I will. I just got to just crank it out. More sleepless nights coming my way this month. What about you?
Well, first of all, if you're watching this, you're probably watching it in January. So
yeah.
At this point, hopefully we've already gotten these deliverables out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for me, actually did 2 partnerships with MusicBed, which has been awesome. I've been wanting to work with them for a while. I've been like an ambassador with them. And so I did those. In November, I shot a short film that I don't know how the best way is to say this, but you know, when you film something and you have a great crew and great actors and talent and everything, and it's just like, this is the best thing I've ever filmed. And like, it's not, I don't say that in a prideful way. I just say it because the team was incredible.
Yeah, you saw yourself kind of level up and you're in that moment. It's like, wow, this is good.
Yeah. And so that was a short film. It was my 5th short film to film. That was a tongue twister. And out in Oklahoma with a team called Moon Era Films, and we shoot a couple films a year. And so yeah, that was sick. And then also have like partnered with Lumix, which has been crazy. It's kind of weird. Like at the end of the year, it's like all these different things happen. I got connected with DJI, got connected with Lumix, Music Bed, and I think because, so like on the content creator side, I think because the holidays are coming up, like it's just natural for companies to reach out to more people. So I think that's partially why, but all of them have been primarily Instagram based stuff. And so I actually took a break in December from posting on YouTube because, or I guess I am taking a break because I picked up a little bit more freelance, picked up a little bit more on the brand deal side for my Instagram. And I was just like, I just need to let something breathe.
Yeah.
And as you know, I work at a church, which means like, church season is so busy.
Especially around the holidays. Yep.
And so, something had to give. And so I just said, I'm still recording YouTube videos, but not putting anything out because I can slowly chip away at them if I don't have like a deadline. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, I'm back up. I'm back out there. So
yeah, you and me both. And also like, I guess too, like I wasn't specific, and it's awesome that you got those deals, Lumix and Music Bed. Like that's what, it's kind of worth doing the content as well. Cause some return, you do enjoy making the content, but also you want some compensation somehow, some form of it.
Yeah.
I partnered with Fujifilm this year. I'm an ambassador for them this year.
Huge.
Which was a massive deal. There were some projects that we were in the talks with, but my other life stuff got in the way and some of that stuff fell through, but I'm doing a lot of small content for them right now. It's been really, really cool kind of getting the behind the scenes, getting the curtain kind of pulled back and seeing how things operate on their side. MPB was a new sponsor this year.
That's a sick sponsor.
I love the fact that I finally got MPB, like, because I've like all these also too, like you and I, we're the ones like we use these brands for years. And it's like, oh, now they come to us because they see the value that we're putting out. And we're not trying, and we criticize them too. It's not like all those
100%.
Cupcakes, but the fact that, when we have these initial conversations, they say, yeah, we watch your content. We love the fact that you're honest. Like, that's great to hear. But that's what, other people kind of care about too. So, but yeah, MPB, they've been great. Hopefully to sign a longer contract with them for next year. And like, I don't know about you, but for me, there are a ton of like one-offs and other stuff that come my way. Next year, I'm really going to just dial in specific brands I don't consistently work with and say no to a lot of other stuff, unless it's like an amazing opportunity. If it doesn't cross a certain threshold, I'm saying no, because it's not worth my time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we should clarify, and we kind of just went into this.
Oh, we did.
Because I brought it up, but like our businesses are kind of 3-pronged in a way. There's like freelance that for you that some of it's Sunny 16, but really I think of Sunny 16 as like your day job essentially. So you got your own kind of like individual freelance stuff that's still kind of run through Sunny, but like you got the Sunny Productions, and then you've got your YouTube content creation side. And I'm the same way. I've got a full-time job at a church. I do some freelance work for some local marketing companies and a band here locally in Arkansas. And then I just started doing some editing as well. And then I have the content creation side.
Yeah. We are the working YouTubers.
I think so. I don't think that I just think so that video, actually, the working YouTuber video, it was actually really inspiring to me. I've never seen that guy's videos, and I was like,
I follow him. He's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, why don't I post about my freelance stuff? Like I don't talk about it at all, and I don't have any rules against it. I just, I think I wish I was working on bigger stuff with bigger crews, and so because I'm not, I just teach concepts. But that video actually encouraged me to literally do a like retrospective, like I guess like a video production diaries type thing.
Yeah. Where it's basically a vlog, but just super chill.
Yeah, so I'm building those out right now. That they're just going to be.
And to be more specific, what we're talking about.
Yeah, pull the guys.
I'm gonna just go back in our text thread right quick. His name is his name always I think it's David, right? David? No,
I
hold
think
on.
so.
Pause. Yeah, David Moorfield.
Yeah.
I've been a subscriber for the last year to his channel, and I sent this to Edward just because we were going back and forth because we've seen some other content creators now put out videos that are okay. Wait, I feel like there's so much that we're dumping right now because it's all the conversations we've had in the back end. It's
Yeah.
kind of spewing
This is
for
just
me.
like a catch-up chat pod. I hope you know.
Yeah. So we got to figure out chapters. What I'm going to move in now, which relates to what we've just been talking about, and why I mentioned we are part of the working YouTuber community, whatever that is. I feel like personally, Edward does too. Been this tension I've noticed this year. Obviously, there's been tension all over America in terms of politics
Totally.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's been tension in the creator community, and it's not new, but it's been more voiced. I feel like this year it's the filmmaker versus YouTuber conversation, and that's been really kind of been centralized. It's kind of exploded a little bit more. Now we're seeing like direct videos to people responding to certain pieces of content or creators themselves. And it kind of all stemmed from too, like the catalyst was that whole Lumix
The
I want to
S9
say
trip.
the S9 trip, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that has been a very interesting thing to navigate because now I feel like the voices of those viewers are now saying like, they're trying to call out every other creator out there and calling them sellouts. It's more of like the negative people. There's a ton of good commenters and viewers who support channels and stuff like that. But there's always those who have the negative voice tend to be the loudest at times. And so, yeah, just watching that has been very interesting. And you and I have had conversations about, where are we in all this and how should we shape the content that we put out and what should we say? And it's been interesting. I mean, I don't know if you want to add anything else to that before I keep going, but
yeah, no, I think it's an interesting thing because I started making like educational Instagram videos like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal was and still is to help one person.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally someone who is in my shoes, who's basically me 5 years ago. That's always been the goal. So then as I grow, I continue to talk to a person who's growing, right? For whatever reason, I think just, the goodness of God, like my Instagram account started to get some traction and then went from 2,500 to 100K. Dude, it was in the span of literally a month. Like it was like, and that wasn't because I did anything in particular. It was just because I hit that crossover of the Venn diagram of the things I want to talk about, the things that people want to listen to, and landed there with a couple pieces of content. And because of that, some brands have discovered that I make content, and I've started a YouTube channel. It's been 2 years with the YouTube, about 5,000, almost 6,000 subs. And and that feels great, but people aren't really hitting me up to do anything sponsored on my YouTube. They're more just interested in sending me products for review. I don't really review products because it just feels weird. I'm down if you want to send me something and then I'll use it in an explainer video. But it's not something that I anticipated being a thing when I first started out. I thought it would be kind of cool if I could get some gear. I knew you at the time, so I was like, I knew you were getting gear, so I was like, it'd be cool if I could get some gear. But really, I think what I've seen, and then I'll let you get into your thoughts. I think what I've seen is that it is hard for a viewer to know the difference between someone using a piece of gear because it was sent to them versus someone using a piece of gear because they would have already bought it, but it just happened to be sent to them. And it's an interesting piece that feels like maybe where the tension is. I know that, like, I've been thinking about MKBHD a lot. He gets sent a ton of stuff. And he doesn't clarify if he gets to keep it or not. He just says it was sent to him and he talks about it. And we all take his opinion like fairly. We're like, yeah, this guy knows, you know what I mean? And I think where it gets weird is that you can see, I think what's happened is a creator gets, a product. It's something that they would have already purchased. So then they are like really interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they give it a raving review. But it just happened to be sent to them. But it was something that they already would have purchased in the first place. Like they were already looking to purchase it. So because of that, it looks like it's a biased review.
Mm.
The truth is, whether they sent to them or they purchased it, it would have been the same review. And it's just because it was something they were already interested in. And so, and that's hard because it's like, I don't want to accept products that I'm not interested in and that I wouldn't have already
Exactly.
looked at purchasing.
And that's a big one too. I think the viewer needs to distinguish. Yeah, it's it's kind of a catch 22. Yeah, because there are creators that I've watched that gets a product and whatever, and sometimes it is overly sensationalized, right? It's like, oh, this is the best thing in the planet. This is a game changer. Like all the buzzwords that it gets annoying for us because we watched that and we kind of were in that thing. So there is that level of, you know, reality when we make reviews and like what we present, but it's also up to the viewer taking this to understand that there is going to be some biases to those who receive something, just because one, they, like you just said, they're most likely interested. That's the reason why they say yes to it in the first place. Now,
Exactly.
I think there's a major distinction too between channels who review, filmmaker channels that review almost every little piece of gear out there. My trust limits gets lowered quite a bit because it becomes cookie cutter. It becomes a salesperson because you have a large category of products that you're trying to talk about. That's the next best thing for you. Those channels who sink their teeth into something like you and I and some other channels we can definitely list out, but like we want to be very specific about the things that we're using. So like you and I, we rarely change cameras out. Like we changed it out maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe if it's needed. And early on, we were just starting out making our filmmaking career. So like we had to go from a DSLR body to a production camera, or specifically for me. And that's what I did. And that's where I'm at. And I'm not moving anytime soon,
right,
unless I need to. But like people have to understand what's the journey of this creator. And viewers have to understand that. And it takes a little bit, just take a little mental exercise to do that. It's not much, because people just tend to watch things one off too, and they make their judgment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I can clearly see that with certain comments. I'm like, clearly you haven't seen the rest of my content, but I understand if you don't want to. But it's like, you want to start a war right here or what?
I can't. The reality is, I can't expect someone to know my journey and what, like I just partnered with Lumix, right? I don't know what the response of that is going to be because at the time of recording this, none of that content has come out.
Mm-hmm.
But transparently, my first, or I guess second ever camera was a GH4. You were on the GH train as well.
Yep.
Then I used the GH5, and then I eventually got a Blackmagic Pocket 6K.
We almost have the
4K.
We almost have the exact same path in terms of cameras. GH5, Blackmagic, Fujifilm, and then
and now I've got the full frame 6K, the Blackmagic. It's L mount, and I was like, the perfect, in my mind, this is before I even had a relationship with Lumix. The perfect pairing to that K would be something that has autofocus and that could double as a content camera. So the S5 2X was like, or the S5 II were like the perfect options in my mind. So I hit up a friend who works for the marketing company who does Lumix's creator partnerships. And I was like, hey, is this something that is my content something you guys would be interested in like working with me on? And they were. But it's like I reached out to them. They're not reaching out to me. And it's because I was already going to purchase that camera. And I was like, well, there might be a world where they want to work with me.
Yeah.
And maybe I can actually get it instead of buying it.
And I know this puts a bad taste in a lot of viewers when they realize that we do have a little bit of power to reach out to these companies because we have leverage. Because all companies want to be able to put out a product and get as many eyes on it and this, that, and the other. Like all companies have that prerogative. And so I see honestly the hate that's been thrown at us when we put in all the work to edit, to shoot, to do all this stuff and put it out there. And then we get criticized for reaching out to companies because we're interested in something. This is like, what more do you want from us?
Well,
we're not also making content for you, but it is for us. And if we're smart about it, we can leverage that to help our careers. And that's what you and I have been doing. It's like, I mean, it's been amazing that I was able to reconnect with Aperture. Like,
Bro, yeah.
yeah, like using every cinematographer needs lights, but it's the work people forget. It's the work that we put in. I have almost 40,000 subs on YouTube, but that took 2.5 years to get to. A lot of grinding, a lot of editing, a lot of writing, all this stuff. And so, like, sometimes the reward is I can ask for things.
Yeah, and I think a lot more people could actually ask for things than they let on. I think a lot of companies are down to send products to people who don't have many subscribers or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that,
I've seen
but
that.
they know, like, if I'm a filmmaker who also has a YouTube channel and I'm interested in a product, I can send an email, and if you word it well and you, like, have clear, like, there's a clear upside for the company.
Yeah, what's the
I don't
value
know
proposition?
companies that Yeah, I don't know companies that are going to say no. I think I should clarify also,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very new in this journey. I have been doing filmmaking for almost 10 years, but in terms of content creation, it's just been like 3, and I put it off for a really long time, but I haven't received much hate because I don't make many gear-based videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not experiencing the same things that a lot of, I feel like, the bigger creators are. But I think that anytime you talk about a product now, it's getting weird
It's getting
where
very
you
weird.
have people. The other day I saw, and I love this guy's videos. I saw he had a disclaimer, and his disclaimer was that he purchased it with his own money. He not only did he purchase it with his own money, but the brand doesn't even know that he purchased it. It was like all the reverse of the disclaimer that you normally get. And I also will say this culture, this gear review culture, is only a YouTube thing. I don't get any hate on Instagram
That's
about
so
gear.
true. That is
About gear.
so
People
true.
don't care. They're just
People
like,
don't care.
they're like, oh yeah, this is like a,
That's so interesting.
I don't know why.
Huh. Great point. Yeah, I can just do an unboxing and then get 10,000 views and a couple hundred comments and whatever and be done with it, be fine. Nothing really negative about it. But as soon as you make the claim that you're a filmmaker, let alone working filmmaker, and then small HD gave me this thing, and then that I think the expectation is also like once money is involved, there was a point where I felt I had to say something nice to certain things, but then I mean it wasn't like to the point where it crippled what I wanted to say, but that always kind of goes in the back of my head. It's like, oh yeah, this is a reputable brand. I want to be able to work with them again. But now it's like, if you understand the environment, it's like, okay, when I do engage with companies, I make it clear. It's like, hey, I'm going to test this for 2 to 3 months if I can. Then I'll share with you what I find. Here are some things I'm not sure that I'm going to mention, and sometimes I can say that to them, and because I want to have that conversation open, and I'll stand firm on certain things that I don't want to change if they ask to change it. I say no, I don't want to do that. So it's up to them if they want to continue to work with me or not, and then I'll be able to put out the video. So like, there's also that power too now. It's like if you want to have an authoritative voice in this space, you got to put your foot down on certain things. And I feel like I did that for the last couple of products that was sent to me, and I shared with you too. Like one was a tripod head. I did that video and I was like, oh shoot, okay, it's not what I expected. They saw the video. I share with my thoughts with them. They changed it. They sent me an updated product, and so I'm gonna do an update for it so I can show you like what it does. And there was another product too. Like there was a shark fin that didn't do exactly what I wanted, and I told them, say, this is not an ideal product for the situation, and they changed it too. So it's like there is that power that we have as well that can benefit other viewers who decide to purchase it. We're not trying to make you purchase anything. We're just talking about the things that we like to share.
Yeah, yeah. I think that when you first start getting gear, it's very natural to have the reaction of, well, I don't want to say anything too bad because I want to continue to get gear from this company. And I think the perspective that every review, if the gear is sent to you, is biased, comes from the perspective of, well, if I was sent gear, I'd be pretty excited and I'd want to get more gear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason why we don't question someone like MKBHD's reviews is because we know he's doing great, and we know he doesn't need any of this gear.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
then,
always was like that. Always was like that.
It wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
But like even still, it was like he it's I think that he has always pointed out simply the pros and cons and inevitably what he thinks about the product. And so all you can do as a filmmaker who's getting stuff is just like give your honest opinion about it. If people don't think it's honest,
then that's on them
that's
at this point.
you can't I can't convince anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then, like I was saying earlier, there is that level of language you use too. If it's always like this is the best thing, this is the best thing, this is the best thing, and there's nothing negative said about it, then I'm like, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But I would pick the topic that's going to yield the longest conversation on. I got like less than 10 minutes to hop off.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Well, okay. One last thing on this topic. I think that when it comes to just filmmaking products in general right now, everything is getting better and cheaper.
Yeah.
It is way different now
than it
was when I first started filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
When I was rocking the T3i, there were bad cameras, and the T3i was one of them.
Yeah.
And like, and then when I got the GH4, it was great, but there were still bad cameras, and it had a lot of drawbacks. So I think now things are getting so good and so cheap that we're in this place where sometimes I'm talking about a product, I'm really like analyzing my use of it on real like freelance shoots over the last month, and I'm like, literally I'm thinking like 2 things that I would make better about it. And so I think that I can't break down every single thing, but it's like sometimes it's just that products are just better.
Yeah. And to be honest, and this is the last time I'm gonna say too, gear reviews aren't going away, but I think channels like ours, especially for me, I do want to introduce more of the sort of the conceptual aspect, the how-to aspect, more into that, because that is what's missing. There isn't a lot of trusted voices out there that can put you in a spot where you grow as much. And I think you do a great job of doing that. I'm doing it from a perspective of this is what a production life looks like.
Yeah.
And I try to take you on that journey. And then on the backside of it, here are the tools that I use that I want to know as much as I can. Because a cinematographer is sometimes nothing without the gear. Other times they can just use the brain. But it's like you got to know what the tools that you're using. And also I'm an AC, so like the tech side is not going to go away from my side. So
yeah, it's a huge piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, I have to know my stuff.
Yeah. Well, and something else I appreciate about your stuff is that you're showing these like medium-sized productions or somewhat large. It depends on where you're at, how you see the production. But a lot of times it's like 5-6 people on the crew, and you've got like some extra hands and like producers, PAs, all that. But I think the hard part, and something you've talked to me about, is a lot of times NDAs, or you have to wait till the content actually comes out.
Yeah. I know that was one big thing a lot of people were saying, because I put out a post like, what is the filmmaking space on YouTube's missing? People want behind the scenes, more raw footage content, and that's cool. And there's channels that are doing that, like David Moorfield and PD.
Yeah, all the guys that he referenced.
Yeah, they all do that, but not just putting any shade on them. It's just like, for instance, in my position with these, $100,000 jobs and up, I can't show any of that stuff until the product's actually out there. So that's almost sometimes months, because it's the editing fee, the editing process, or then there's the campaign that goes out. So I can't show any of that. So it's kind of pointless to show the behind the scenes. And a lot of times too, on a professional set, like I've been around grips who've worked on Hollywood films and this, that, and the other. And so like you see this young kid coming here with a little Osmo or an iPhone, and then talking like, that looks so unprofessional. So I'm not going to do that, because I'm in the role of a DP. They are listening to what I have to say. So I have to be tack sharp, getting stuff from the director to relate to my department. So like there's that level of professionalism I need to bring. So I can't always show behind the scenes on these projects. So that's another like kind of catch-22 about it. So you guys want that, but it's like the reality is I can't always show that.
I think it just depends on the projects you're doing. I think that I will say this transparently, all the projects that I do, I could pretty much share.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Yeah.
And it's not for any other reason besides it is a vulnerable place to put yourself in, to put it out there, like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm trying to get better at it. So hopefully there's more of that content out there. And I think a lot of the guys that David highlighted in his video make incredible work, and their BTS, I'm like, you're achieving a lot and it looks amazing. And so, and I think I'm at a similar level or a little bit, I don't know what, it doesn't matter. We're all making stuff.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
But I think that
There's so much out there to watch.
there is. And honestly, like, I think that the higher in the budget range that you can get, where you can get BTS, the more helpful it is. But still, if someone watches a BTS of one of your projects that you film, but they are just starting out, well, then it's not going to be that helpful because there's a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have people at every single level.
Mm.
And I just think about it like a year or two behind. So what's someone who's a step behind you? That's the person that can probably benefit the most.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that content, and that there has to be people at every single step of the journey. And I'm not saying that we are at a step higher than anyone or lower than anyone. Just there are steps throughout the entire journey, and that, like, I think that helps.
And different opportunities that are at
100%.
hand. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Every position, every creator has a different path. So it's like just respect their path and then learn what you can from them, honestly.
Yeah. And honestly, if you like, there are creators that I don't watch as often because their path and the journey that they're on isn't as relatable to the stuff that I'm doing. And so it just doesn't click as much. I don't have a problem with that. I know there are people that aren't going to watch my channel because I do things differently or whatever. I'm in freaking Arkansas, so I'm not going to be.
I'm in Indiana, bro.
Yeah, but you're close to Chicago.
I guess.
anyways. Okay. Last 3 minutes. What can people expect from the Filmmaker Hotline over the next year, 2025?
We didn't even talk about that.
I know, I put you on the spot.
You did. Honestly, I think we can be a level-headed voice in the space. I feel like there's extremes on both ends, and I feel like we're pretty good in the middle. And we're definitely going to bring in more of our experiences from being on set, from the narrative side, from the commercial side. This year was a big year for learning for both of us, and I think we have a wealth of new knowledge for us and new knowledge to share, but also a lot of gaps that we will love to put out there. And hopefully you guys will kind of pour back into us, and we will learn from you all. We want that. We're not trying to speak from a high, what's a pedestal or whatever. We're not trying to speak from there. We're just trying to share what we've been going through. And then if we can learn from you all, then we will learn, and vice versa.
100%. Yeah. And I think we want to answer as many questions as we can. Again, it's the Filmmaker Hotline, so leave a voicemail at the number on the screen if you have questions. But also, I think that the goal is just to have real conversations about filmmaking, because that's like all of us are trying to do is make like good videos, good films, and we're in different places in terms of our careers, so that's fun. I'm like behind you in terms of like those steps that we talked about, and so we're gonna look at things differently.
You're
and
not
like
too
be able
far
to discuss
behind, bro.
that.
You're not too far behind.
Whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's just like, we're gonna be able to like discuss different projects we're on and compare notes and stuff like that, and that's the goal. So if there's anything that would be valuable to you that you want to learn or you have questions about, obviously leave us a voicemail. That's first episode of the year.
Bang.
First episode of season 2. First episode on the new channel.
Bang, bang. Any
last words, Joshua?
I said it.
For this pod?
I gotta go.
Done. Okay, we're done. We're out of here.